I'm your host. I wanted to get into something today that I stumbled on with a client, and it has to do with time control. Okay, so that's really what we're going to get into. Like, how can we really start taking advantage of time? Okay, you want to transform pressure into results, and we have to factor in time. Is that fair? Is that okay? Jensen Vintin, are you black? No, I am white. I'm half white, half Hispanic. I don't know why that's relevant, but whatever. And guys, as ever, what's up, Morgan? As ever, if you want to join in on the conversation, jump in. Number one, what's up, Coach? Happy to see you, brother. Good to see you. Chili, TJ McNeely. I'm trying to see all the names here, but I blocked it off a little bit. Anyway, guys, I want to talk to you about how we can really start changing your life by controlling your time. Okay, it's very time mastery or time control is going to be the key to everything that you do. Premier BJJ, what's up, brothers? I got some UK people in the house. Ali Chiliki, show some love to Mr. Hakeem. Nick Mock Hakeem. Okay, what's up, bro? Happy to see you. What's up, Bob Liker? Happy to see you, man. So time control. How do we transform pressure into results, into power? Okay. So I really want to dig into this. I have a client who shall remain nameless. She is a super high achiever. This is basically somebody, I don't know English. I only know how to speak. How are you? Yeah, doing great, brother. So I have this client, super high achiever, Olympic coach, okay, and is running a business. The problem is this is a person who's a single parent, has tremendous amount of responsibilities that they've undertaken because they are the CEO of their company as well. We've already done fantastic with this person. In the first 3 months of us working together, we made as much in one quarter working together already as this person made all last year. Okay. And so we're trying to push through these boundaries, these limitations as a coach, right? So what do we do here when somebody is really distressed by the amount of things that they have to get done? There's not enough time. There's too little of the person and too many things to do. Not enough time. Augustinian Alexander. Hey, coach, just wanted to give you a little news. I got fired yesterday, but got interviews coming up and staying stoic with positive thoughts. Yeah, dude, listen, it's always going to be a volume game, right? Like, it's a crazy time. And especially if you get fired from a high paying job, it gets harder and harder to replace that income because those higher paying jobs are fewer and far between. So this is all part of a strategy of maintaining your wealth, abundance, all that. But I want to stay focused on time. Okay. So now this client of mine is absolutely stressed out. She has a huge deliverable that needs to be out here like in 2 days, still has sales calls to make sure that the money's coming in so she can keep the lights on and pay the rent and pay for a kid's school, all this kind of stuff, right? So how do we handle all this, right? There's in the concept of stress, there's this idea of distress, which is no fun. That's overwhelm. In fact, that's the word that was used to describe what my client was going through, just overwhelmed. Okay, that's not good. You don't want to be overwhelmed. And then there's something that's subtly different from distress, from overwhelm, and that's eustress. EUSTRESS, like stress with an EU at the beginning of it, okay? That is the beneficial stress. That is the stress when you go and you lift weights and you destroy the muscles. It's like a hormesis, right? It destroys the muscles, but they come back stronger. This is what we want. We want that beneficial stress. And what I've noticed with this particular client is they have to improve their relationship with time. So I'm going to get kind of scientific. We're going to delve into physics. We're going to delve into economics. We're going to delve into, I don't know, psychology. I hate that word, but like how we perform. And we're going to get into coaching today. So my clients struggle with managing time, with controlling time is not rare. Unfortunately, most of us have to deal with this. Some of us deal with it better than others. Is that fair? So how do we get to the beneficial stress? How do we get out of overwhelm and get right back into beneficial stress? Okay. This is not about a scarcity of time. Now, of course, time is the most important asset that we all have. Whether you're Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or a homeless guy, or a middle manager, or a student, or a child, or whatever, we all have a finite amount of time. Is that fair to say? We all have a finite amount of time. So how do we make the most of this? How do we control time? How do we create time? This is what we had to back off of, and I had to have a review because this, again, is a high achiever. This is somebody who probably does more and does it at a higher level than most anybody else that you know in the world. Like, is in on the high performance side of the bell-shaped curve, right? There's everybody's at average. There's the low performers and they're high performers. This person's a high performer, okay? But part of the problem is the motivation strategy. A lot of us came up being coached, especially those of us that were in some sort of athletic endeavor, were a lot of us treated with this old school high stress mentality where you're almost abused, like hit with things and hit with a cane or whatever the case might be to get it right. It works, okay? Unfortunately, this is what happened in slavery, cracking the whip, but it's very stressful, and stress is not good for your health. I mean, I don't think that any of this is controversial. So the challenge is how do we get into that beneficial zone and execute and remove a lot of the emotion? So I want to share with you what I did today, okay? So there's a couple things that you need to do to get control of time, okay? I hope this is useful for you guys. This is super simple. This is super valuable. This is something I have clients. I have a huge toolkit. This is one of the things that I do when I notice people having a hard time with time. So the first thing you need to do is you need to look at what are the current obligations. What is it that you've signed up for? You need a list, a to-do list, okay? I'd show you mine, but it's in my backpack right now. So what is your to-do list? Just dump everything out of your brain. If you're having a hard time sleeping at night sometimes because you're too worried about stuff, this is a perfect time to sit down with a yellow legal pad and write down every single thing that you can think of that you are responsible for, that you are obligated for, that has to get done. If you, so we were, Augustinian Alexander was talking about a job. So for him, he needs to hit as many hiring managers as possible. Okay, that's his obligation. You got bills to pay. I don't know how much savings. If you're like the average American, you don't have much. So you need to get hustling. You need to get volume and make this happen. If you own your own business, if you're like this client of mine, you've got to do sales calls, create product, do marketing, manage your staff. Like there's all this stuff to do. Then you have parental duties. In this case, this is a single parent. So they actually cannot divide the labor. Okay, so part of this thing is you need to write down everything, brain dump everything. It may not even be related. You might have something related to family tests, something related to jobs, something related to your own personal development and fitness. Dump it all out on a piece of paper. Just get everything out until you can't think of anything else. That's step one. Okay, now what you're going to do once you have a nice long list and you're like, oh shit, this is supposed to help me with the overwhelm. Well, we're only beginning. The reason you feel overwhelmed is all you have is this jumble of stuff in your own mind trying to manage it. Well, we've gone from just reacting and having all this stuff that we're signed up for to the first step of control, and that's writing it down, creating an itemized list. Now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to go through everything. And in the case if you're a business person or whatever, however you want to find profit. When I define profit here, if I'm talking to a business owner, I very specifically mean business profit. but let's say that it's your own personal life and how you dictate what is important to you in your own life, the profit, the abundance. We're going to put next to anything that is a profit producing activity, the acronym PPP or PPA. I'm sorry, profit producing activity. Okay. That's it. You're going to write down your list and then you're going to go, okay, is that profit producing? Is that okay? PPA. Is that? No. Yes. Okay. PPA. And you're going to get a list. So out of your list, let's say you have 50 things on your list. 5 or 10 could be listed as profit producing activities. These are the most important things. If you are the CEO of a company, even if you're not, you're still the CEO of your life. So I want you to list the very most important things in terms of abundance, wealth, preparing for the future, taking stress off. Okay. Probably these should be money related. Everybody's got to figure out how to live with money, even the communists. All their delusions, they've still got to deal with material wealth and how to accumulate it and how to prepare and insure yourself and all these kind of things. So you're going to create that list. You're going to list PPA next to every other. Okay. Then you're going to go back to the top of the list. And there are 4 acronyms. I want you to write this down. Write down 4 words. It's an acronym, SEDA, but I want you to write down each letter stands for a word. Simplify, write down simplify. Next is, next to simplify, I'm having a brain fart. It's eliminate. I'm sorry. So simplify, eliminate. D is going to be delegate, and A is going to be automate. Simplify, eliminate, delegate, automate. Okay, so now you have your PPAs, your profit-producing activities. Bear with me here. Then you're going to go through and you're going to find anything else, and it might even be the PPAs, some of the PPAs, anything that you could simplify, anything that you can eliminate that's not actually important, anything that you can delegate, and anything that you can automate. Do you understand now? You see how this process works? Okay. So once you do that, you're going to go and you're going to basically go back to the top of the list. And starting with the PPAs, you're going to put a date or a deadline. When does this have to be done by? Non-negotiable. What is the end date? Put a date on it. We're controlling time. This is where we're starting to get into time. PPA, so one thing's going to be more important than the other or require it to be done sooner. We're doing triage here. For those of you who understand the language of triage, in an emergency room in a hospital, you've got to deal with the people who have the shortest amount of time to live first and then rescue everybody else after that. Do you understand? Triage. So that's what we're going to do with our tasks. So every PPA, you're going to put a date. Then the rest of the things that have an S, an E, a D, and an A next to it, simplify, eliminate, delegate, or automate, you're going to put not just a date, but you're also going to put a who. Who can help you here? Is there somebody who can help me simplify this? Is there somebody who can help me eliminate this? Is there somebody that I could delegate the task itself to? Is there somebody who can help me automate? Do you see how we're starting to get control here? So the first thing we've done is create an overall arching task list. Then we've assigned deadlines to it. And now we're starting to do division of labor. Does this make sense? Now, once you have all your list marked up this way, I want you to reprioritize it, rewrite it all out in a descending order. The top should be the most pressing, urgent, time-sensitive things that are PPAs, and then all the rest underneath it. Does this make sense? Then all you simply have to do is hit each task sequentially. Boom, 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 boom. Does that make sense? I don't even know if this is helpful to any of you guys, but this is how you're going to control time. Does this make sense? Time is a real trip, dude. When you really start looking at it, you look at physics, it is very much a very trippy concept. Okay. So I would like you to really consider this, okay? Because we know from Einstein that time is relative. Time passes as a function of your speed. The faster you go, the slower time goes. Right? Do we all understand that? Time is actually more flexible than you think, but you have to think about it, take the emotion and the pressure off, and start to really engineer and design what you're trying to make happen. So, who here is a physics nerd? Anybody? Anybody a physics nerd? Because I'm going to drop a phrase, and it's an absolutely fascinating experiment. It's called the delayed choice quantum eraser. The delayed choice quantum eraser. 4 words, delayed choice quantum eraser. So just, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Wikipedia. There's all these great resources. The effect of the delayed choice quantum eraser was to prove that events in the past can control events in the present, or things in the present can affect things in the past. It's a really trippy concept, okay? Your actions now don't just influence the future, they also influence the past. Okay, this is one of those things that quantum physics, in fact, I believe the delayed choice quantum eraser is the most verified and proven experiment in all of physics, because it is so absolutely mind-boggling for our current understanding of how, or our current perception of how time operates, right? But you have to understand, your perception is not reality. This is my problem. I hear people tell me like, oh, perception is reality. No, it's not. Perception is a very small slice of reality. You cannot perceive X-rays. But if you don't know and detect X-rays properly and you get bathed in them, you will die of cancer. It's a reality that you cannot perceive it. There are sounds you cannot perceive. There are things that we cannot perceive that are real. And in fact, if you look at physics, it depends who you speak to, because there are some true science is debated, so it's never settled, ever. It's evolving, adapting, improving, improvising, right? A constant, never-ending process of, pardon my language, but fuck around and find out. That's what science is. So the vast majority of science or of matter is dark matter, and the vast majority of energy is dark energy. All that means is stuff we know is there, but we can't perceive it. We only can perceive there's a plenum and there's a certain portion missing, and we have no idea what it is. We know what is here, and we know the whole size of the pie, but the part that we can't perceive, we have no idea. You don't know what you don't know. We know that we don't know it, so we're at least that far. So the delayed choice quantum eraser, right? Imagine if right now, your actions now, we all are very aware of this fact that we can influence the future. I could just turn the TV or turn the camera off and be gone, and then you guys wouldn't see the future of what I'm talking about. I could do that by choice. But did you know you can influence the past? We've proven this through, and again, I don't have, it requires a lot of visualization of how they tweaked the double slit experiment, which is another fascinating experiment that came out right around the time of relativity with Einstein, but it's different type of physics. That's relativity. That deals with our scale. And basically it says that, I hate to use this word, but so much of reality is subjective. It's based upon the observer. Okay. Now, this is the double slit experiment does posit that perception can create reality. That the double slit experiment, right? Does anybody know what the hell I'm talking about? The double slit experiment is the experiment that had a light beam shot through 2 slits. Looks like a giant electrical outlet with 2 slits. If you're observing it, on the backside is an emulsion like that you use to take pictures, photographic film, say. And if you're measuring and you're observing the experiment, the light behaves as a photon. If you're not, it behaves as waves of probability. And you can record this just through this is called the Copenhagen interpretation of physics. Okay, and this is another place where, again, the observer can affect reality. You have that same effect on time. They were able to tweak the delayed choice quantum eraser, was able to tweak the double slit experiment. You could see this. Just go to YouTube, all right, and check it out. What if, though, we were to apply the delayed choice quantum eraser to this idea of time control in your own life and your own personal success, right? What if time isn't this tyrant ruthlessly, relentlessly marching forward? And what if our perception or our understanding is incomplete, and a more complete understanding is that possibilities are infinite? That where we focus our attention, we can in fact bend, warp, and control reality through our attention. Are you truly focusing your attention on time control? Or are you letting the world happen to you? The world is going to happen to you anyway, but are you happening to the world? Are you intentional? Are you creating your reality? Right? What if your future successes are actually shaping your present efforts? I don't know if this trips you out as much as it does me. I'm going to say that again. What if your future successes are in fact affecting your present efforts? Right? So again, I want to bring in this SEDA framework, SEDA, simplify, eliminate, delegate, and automate. Okay? Most people, including this client of mine, they were stuck with this time as a tyrant type of thing. Harry Balsena says, is this the plot of Doctor Strange? Maybe the time stone or whatever. I don't know. I would like you to instead not see time as a tyrant, but see your efforts, the list of things that you've assigned the deadlines to, the program that I had you lay out with using setup, the profit producing activities, listing out, putting deadlines to it. Don't look at it in terms of time as you understand it. Look at each one as a moment of impact. Okay, as a moment where the choice, right? As far as we could tell, we are experiencing the now. We don't experience the future. We don't experience the past. We can envision the future. We can remember the past, but we are in the now as far as we can tell. There are trains of thought that believe that everything exists simultaneously, and just like we can only perceive a certain band of light or hear a certain frequency of sound, we only experience time moving like the arrow of time, as it's called in physics. But what if that is not true? Meaning, it's true insofar as how we experience it, but it isn't the actual totality. And these experiments are seeming to show us this. So if we embrace this more quantum view of time, and we transform our understanding, our relationship of physics, and what I mean by this is in a radical way, our own personal understanding, expand and try to understand time in a different way so that it is no longer pressure in the normal sense. Yeah, of course, Pressure squeezes lemons into lemonade. Pressure turns coal into diamonds. I get all that. And that's cool. And that's true. Again, from a physics standpoint. Okay. And chemistry. However, what if instead of operating from pressure, from a motivation strategy that is distress, that we embrace this benefit stress view, this eustress view of time, so that your intentions, your focus, your lack of distraction, which is hard these days. It's one thing that I noticed when I was talking to my client. Not being intentional and conscious with time. The person was late to our meeting, was late on deadlines, was distracted. I'm trying to talk to the person, have a conversation, help them with their problem. They're distracted, looking at their phone, looking at their list, doing everything but being intentional in the now. So instead of pressure, taking the power through focus, sustained focus, observation, perception, like a laser, over time to cross each task off the list through your own effort or employing other people. This is one thing that I need you guys to understand. If you are experiencing distress because of things going on in your life, I want you to, I have no problem with you asking how do I deal with this? But I think a more useful question is who can help? If you're an employer, if you have a company, why have employees? Why not just do everything yourself? Well, you could, but your timeline is going to extend. So if I want my time to shrink, I have to buy time. I have to pay people for their time, their effort during time. Do you understand? So start thinking about who can help me. Remember, SEDA, SEDA. Simplify. Maybe that's on you. Maybe you're making things complicated. For example, this person was like, oh my God, I have all these sales appointments. If I don't do those, then I'm not going to have money in the future. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You do need to get it done. Let's talk about that for a moment. The sales calls were taking 30 minutes minimum for them to do fact finding, qualification, getting them on the right product, sending them a proposal. What can you do to simplify that? Can you do what was taking you 30 minutes? Can you do it in 5? Okay, that's simplify. Eliminate. Can you eliminate sales? No, you can't eliminate sales. But some things you might be able to eliminate, like the amount of time that you're taking. You can eliminate maybe 20 minutes out of that. Can you delegate it? Well, no, I can't delegate it because nobody else can do it. Okay. You know what? Nobody can bake this fantastic special banana bread that you've figured out how to make. So what are you going to do? Because if you're sick or you're busy, nobody can have banana bread. You make a recipe so that anybody, okay, I get bananas, I get flour, I get sugar, I get whatever, I get yeast. I have an oven. I mix it. I put it in a pan. I throw it at 425 for however an hour. Pull it out, slice it up, put it in tinfoil. That's a recipe. In business, that's called an SOP, a standard operating procedure. You need to at least take the time. Like I told you, the first step of controlling time is writing it down. So you're going to write down standard operating procedure. You're going to delegate. Remember we said simplify, eliminate, delegate. We're going to delegate that. Now you have somebody else doing it. Now there's 2 people doing the same work. You've had the time, hopefully, because they know what to do. You understand? So you're buying back your time. Time is money. Feel me? Time is also space. These are the trippy concepts that nobody's thinking. Everybody's still thinking with like a 19th century Newtonian view of clockwork view of the universe. And you need to update your model. You need to start thinking about how am I going to do this with more of a relativity informed mindset, a quantum informed mindset, the modern advances in physics and in chemistry and whatnot, right? So if you can focus your intentions and you can break down, and then the last one, obviously automate, maybe something there could be done better by AI. So the first question I asked, she has a deliverable. I'm like, how much of this can you put into AI? In this case, it was very difficult. It's still beyond the AI. There was a lot of matching between mediums, between video but there's still things that could be done. You could have the AI automatically transcribe video now. Then you take the transcription and you tell it to timestamp it. And then, there are things that can be done automation wise. Maybe it's not completely automated, but it could take a lot of your stress out. Do you feel where I'm going with this? So I hope this is useful to you guys. This is part of the toolkit that you're going to do to start getting control over your time. Because it's the most important thing that we have. You can ask billionaires, why are they so curt? Because they realize the importance of time. Time is money. Does this make sense? All right, so I just want to wrap this up. I'm going to open it up to questions. I know I've been kind of powering through this. These are more complicated, and if I stop, it's going to mess up the flow because it is a complicated subject. Okay. In this discussion, we're transcending time management. We're transcending time management. This is beyond time management. This is time mastery, time control, and not just at this level, at the micro level, at the quantum level. How do we really start thinking about things in a different way to get better control of our lives? You feel me? Remember, when you start thinking about like this way, the potential, the possibilities really expand exponentially. Okay. So if this interests you, if you found any value in this, man, let me know. I'd love it. If you send me a DM, if this is useful to you. This is the sort of thing I do with clients. This is just a small sliver of what we do to try to get clients to succeed at No1 Coaching, No1 Business Coaching. All right. This is also part of what I have integrated into scientific wrestling. I've really tried to do my best to apply the rational mind towards the problems presented by grappling and to get people to do them, because it's a foregone conclusion of the benefits of wrestling. Wrestling is the oldest human endeavor in terms of sports. It is the most impactful. In particular, my field of expertise, catch, can wrestling. So if I can help you through your personal development, through scientific wrestling, your professional development and financial development, and possibly professional development through scientific wrestling, let me know. I'm here for you guys. Now, that said, any questions you guys have, I have a few minutes before my next client call. I'm going to open it up to questions. I don't even know if this made any sense to you guys, or if this was like totally lame and you guys didn't find any value in it. I see there's still people tuned in, but I don't have any questions. So I am going to open this up. I'm going to scan to see if I missed any questions. Nope. I think I just absolutely captivated y'all. I think the last one we had was somebody asking about the plot of Doctor Strange, which I guess was kind of the implication here. I think there's a lot of weird stuff going on that we don't quite have a full grasp of, but you can experiment with. Again, science, you can F around and find out. This is a part of why I'm so fascinated with the field, which I consider kind of like a proto-science, meta-science. We have the data to support the claims of it, but we don't have the science to understand it really. But it doesn't matter, right? You don't need to understand how to turn a light switch on or how electricity works to flip on the switch in your bathroom. So you can see. One of the things I really find fascinating is that's intertwined with this concept is the idea of chaos magic. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but anyway, Stellar Steven says, is there a certain book source for this type of time management approach? No, this is mine. I will be writing it. I have my newest book. My first book in this series is called Sportify. We talk about this concept of gamification, right? So gamifying, taking elements from games that we know, like video games, right? Everybody's mom, shit, my kids are completely engaged with video games. They love it. It's that particular culture. I was too, man. I was at Nintendo, that first generation Nintendo player too. I loved it, man. Metroid, Super Mario Brothers. I played all that shit. Gamification. But the problem with gamification, I've studied this because of the software company I own with my wife and run, is that we're trying to gamify certain things to just make the behavior easier. But there are limitations. There's a lot of talk about gamification, but there are serious limitations to it, okay? And that's why I came up with the Sportify concept. It moves beyond gamification. But then I realized that there is so much data to be learned and gleaned from sports and apply into human endeavor, in particular the endeavor of abundance and distribution of goods and services, business, economics. And so I created this Sportify concept. So the first book is going beyond business gamification into sportifying. Instead of just taking game elements, we're going to add in, there's this problem in gamification with what's known as intrinsic motivation. It's great for external motivation. I give, leaderboards and prizes and participation trophies and all that kind of stuff. The problem is gamification doesn't address intrinsic motivation, internal, doing stuff without a reward, but sports does. And the big difference is the addition of coaching. What coaching does, okay? And some of the more physical parts of the difference between sports and games, because of the chemicals and the endorphins released and whatnot. The next series is in the Sportify book series is going, the first one is Sportify Beyond Business Gamification. This next one is Sportify Beyond Business Ethics. So, I'm a huge fan of capitalism, laissez-faire capitalism, not state capitalism like you see in the United States or China today, which is closer to fascism. I'm an enemy of that. It's collusion. Okay, it's unethical. And by ethics, all I mean is the application of the idea of consent. So here's what I've done. I've retooled business ethics. I've now taken the concepts of sportsmanship and bioethical principlism. These are the ethical principles that were derived after the atrocities of the Nazis in World War II. Okay? The things that these Nazi-like people are still, there's a lot of them out there, looking at you, Klaus Schwab, that want to do away with these principles of like informed consent, autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, these things in bioethical. And I've integrated sportsmanship and bioethical principlism to create the Sportify Beyond Business Ethics framework. Does that make sense? So that book is going to be published here in about 2 weeks. The book I'm currently writing is Sportify Beyond Business Coaching. I will be addressing these methodologies. So that's my long-winded answer to you, Stellar Stephen. Harry Balsania says, "Can you just start from the beginning again?" Just kidding. Yeah, yeah. That's a tall order. Let me make sure I'm not missing any other comments here. Otherwise, I'm going to jump. That's it. I don't see anybody else asking questions. I appreciate the hell out of you guys as ever. If I can help you personally with your personal development, I'm telling you to go check out Scientific Wrestling. Check out the Mace Bell. Check out No1 Coaching. Professionally, maybe you're a fitness pro. Look at the Mace Bell. Maybe you're a combat sports professional. Look at Scientific Wrestling. Maybe you're just a general entrepreneur, business owner. Look at No1 Coaching. Okay? Stellar Stephen says, "I have a copy of Sportify." Yeah, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I don't know if you read it. Sometimes my writing style can be a little bit academic, but it's not quite academic. I'm trying to make these things a little more engaging so you guys can really get the gist of it. I'm very excited about Sportify Beyond Business Ethics. This is a very important book because I do think that salespeople, big business, big pharma, there is a serious lack of trust, and it's rightfully deserved because these people are not living up to ethics. And, I'm going to be honest with you, you get the politicians you deserve. You encourage what you tolerate. This is also why you have to fight, and you have to have a toolkit of critical thinking. You have to have the ability to speak freely without being censored, open up to debate, those kind of things. These are all covered in this concept in this book. I hope you guys find it of use. Again, No1 Coaching, no1coaching.com and scientificwrestling.com. Big things coming down the pipe. Heading out to Hawaii here in a couple weeks. We've got the Scientific Wrestling Camp down in Louisiana. Got King Mo heading out there. 2 days at Silverback's Martial Arts. Should be amazing. I highly recommend. Dude, if you've not trained with King Mo, man, I'm making these opportunities for you guys. Show up. Get in the room, okay? Wade and I will be in Hawaii here shortly. And then Jesse Merez and I are going to be in Canada. And then me and Pat Miletich will be in Florida. We'll be in Virginia. Get in on this. The next phase is I'm phasing out of the way we're doing it. So these opportunities, I can't tell you how many times people up to me and they're like, oh man, Billy Robinson passed away before I had a chance. I'm like, that's your fault, dude. I made him so available and you didn't take advantage. I don't really care. I'm sorry. I don't care. And I'm going to also be real with you. Another lesson, maybe I need to do a whole show on this. All you guys complaining about not having money, I have no sympathy for you. I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm saying shut up and go work. Stop complaining. Make it happen. You've got to fight. I don't care. Taxes, yes, they're ridiculous, but we all have to deal with it. Inflation is ridiculous. The job market is ridiculous. Figure it out. Provide value. Money is people. The only reason why you get money is because you're providing value to other people. There's an exchange that goes on. It's simple. But I will tell you this. Every time I try to give somebody something for free, it bites me in the ass. Every single time. Every time. And I ended up bringing this up to my mentor, Grant Cardone. And he said, dude, if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. You've got to make them value it. So, guys, all my prices, not just because of inflation, but because of the value, are going to go up. I'm telling you now. Because of the demand, because of the quality of the high-level guys I'm bringing to you. I'm bringing to you freaking Wade Chalice. How many of you guys out there have still not trained with him? I've been with this guy for 20 years. I've trained with him so many times. It's a shame. And that's on you. You have to take responsibility if you want to make these things happen. Start maybe by getting control of your time. Go on YouTube. This will be up. You can watch the replay on YouTube and figure it out. Fair? J.S. Dadan, who is you? If you don't know me, man, you can just look me up. You're obviously on my page, so I hope you can figure it out. Invented the mace bell, invented the modern competitive catch-as-catch-can wrestling scene, invented a reverse mortgage valuation model for servicing rights of reverse mortgages, created the first reverse mortgage consultancy. I don't know, what else have I done? Best-selling author, best-selling instructional teacher. I don't know what to tell you, man. Anyway, guys, if I can help you, I'm here, but you have to show up. First rule of success, you got to actually do it. Okay, I can't do that for you. Appreciate the hell out of you, and guys, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.